Welcome to Time Sync, the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. I'm your host, Sauce, and I am joined by Mr. Hummer.
Are you all ready?
Are we ready?
I don't think so. No one sounded ready.
Oh, we're supposed to be ready?
I guess we're ready.
Supposed to be ready?
I think I hit record.
All right,
And Mr. Brad.
I'm sorry, are we supposed to be ready? What are we ready for?
We got a great...
I'm ready. Whatever.
All right.
Whatever, I'm good.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're ready.
All right. I'm going to record now.
All right, we're recording.
We got a great episode for you this week. This week, we finally know the prices of all the Xboxes and the PlayStations coming out this holiday. So we're going to let you know what we think, which system's worth spending your money on. And if there's time for it, we'll get to some reviews. I know Brad's been checking out some stuff, and I saw New Mutants. So if we have time to get to that, I will tell you not to see that. But this week, we're going to dive right in.
I'm glad I made the choice I made.
Yeah, no, actually, it wasn't that bad, but we'll get to that. Hummer.
Actually, whatever.
We found out today, we're recording on Tuesday night, the prices of the PlayStation and the discless PlayStation. $4.99 and $3.99. That's huge. What do you think, Hummer?
I think PlayStation...
Did you mean to say Wednesday night?
Yeah. It is Wednesday night. We waited till Wednesday night.
Shit.
We waited till Tuesday night. It's Wednesday.
We're starting this whole show over.
Yeah, we planned on doing this last night, but I was asking everybody if we could wait a night because I wanted to see the PlayStation event because something big is happening from a gaming perspective. If you are a big console gamer, you're wanting to get in on the newest hardware as it comes out. We already know that the Xbox pre-orders start Tuesday, so we wanted to be able to get some information out so you could make your decision on which consoles, if you wanted them by launch day, how to make your decision. But more importantly, PlayStation, not being that it's pretty much invite only for their pre-orders, it's also going to be a system that's relatively hard to get. As we're hearing all these rumors about production delays, that's causing this console to be expensive. If we will never probably figure out if this was true, but the prices that we heard today, $4.99 for the disc version, $3.99 for the discless version. From my understanding, Sony was not wanting to charge those prices. They were wanting to charge much higher prices. They did not really want to have to take a loss on this particular round of consoles. And it looks like that Microsoft is forcing their hands with what we learned through the leaks last week, which were confirmed. Xbox came out with a $599 Xbox Series X, no surprise, $299 on the Xbox S front. The biggest surprise, though, that I have with Xbox is their strategies. They're really trying to take a look at what are gamers actually playing on. And what I mean by this, what type of TV are you playing on? Are you playing on a 4K TV or are you playing on a 1080p display? And it makes a big difference in the amount of power that you're actually going to need out of those consoles. And so they're really trying to target that segment. And I think the stats, when I was reading it last, it's something like under 10% of all TVs out there are actually 4K. The majority of gamers are actually playing on 1080p. So Xbox Series X is overkill for a lot of people, or maybe a little bit of future-proofing. Take your pick. What's intriguing about the Xbox, I think, over the PS is that they have the All Access Pass, which we talked about, which is $35 a month for 24 months, gets you an Xbox Series X. I think what's the price on the Series S, if I remember correctly? It's $24.99. Yeah, $25. Gives you for 24 months. Gives you all Xbox Series X, plus it gives you Game Pass. And once again, last week, as we recorded, EA is now including part of their streaming service in the Xbox Game Pass. So you're going to get access to a lot more content. It made it just that much more appealing. The PS5, though, I watched that demo today. And one thing I got to say I was actually impressed with is, I don't know if you guys were watching it and noticed the ray tracing that they were kind of demoing in some of those games. What did you guys think about those trailers?
So I think like you could definitely see the effects of the ray tracing, but it's hard because they were doing a live stream. I was watching it on YouTube, which the most I could get was 1080p. So I couldn't really see the full advantage of it in 4K or how well that ray tracing is going to come across because I have to stream it through YouTube anyway. I don't know if they're probably going to put the videos up online later in 4K, so I want to go back and watch them, especially the Miles Morales trailer, to see how it really, really looks in that sweet, sweet 4K that everybody should be playing in Hummer.
Dude, you got me, man. I broke down. I got the 4K TVs were on sale over Labor Day weekend. I broke down it and got one in anticipation of Series X. Not only that, though, like the specs that they're coming out with. Granted, I have zero expectations, or I do not believe, I guess that is, I'm not going to say expect, I don't believe that any console this generation will hit 120 frames per second in 4K. You'll just throw me into this camp of I don't believe it until I see it, unless AMD's big Navi 2 is just blowing NVIDIA's newest graphics cards out of the water. That's the only way we're going to see these consoles do that. So there is a chance, but I highly doubt it. But it's going to look amazing.
I think if we see it, we're going to see it in the games that have been optimized for PC that already have it. So like Fortnite, Apex Legends, Overwatch, all those games, you can get 120 frames per second on your computer, but like the made just for PlayStation games, made just for Xbox games, they really can't do that on the system yet anyway, or it hasn't been achieved yet. So I don't think we're going to see it in those games, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I think you'll see it more in like Overwatch, where you get more of like a cartoony appearance, and it's not so much Overwatch is more about gameplay and strategy. It's not so much about gorgeous visuals, and so I think you're going to see it in games like that. But like The Last of Us, no chance. Spider-Man, probably no chance. Spider-Man looked awesome though. Holy heck!
I'm one of the games I'm most excited for this year. That on the new systems.
Oh yeah, that and Hogwarts. Brad, I see you're wearing is that a Gryffindor hat? Is that what we have on today?
Go, Gryffindor. There's that for you. Yeah, I had to represent my favorite house, although it's not the one I was placed in. I was placed in Ravenclaw. I guess it's not a choice. Hat. I guess it's not a choice, sorting hat.
You're for sure a Slytherin.
I am for sure not a Slytherin. I don't even like snakes.
I'll fight a snake.
I'll fight a snake.
Actual
no, I don't
snake.
like snakes. The only thing I got to watch of the new release and everything that came out for the PlayStation stuff was I had to check out the trailer for Hogwarts. That universe has been craving an open world RPG adventure, and it looked amazing. I'm so glad it's cross-platform. They're taking it back to like the 1800s, so it's going to be old-timey as well, and it's not just at Hogwarts. You're going to be exploring a lot of the wizarding world of, I'm assuming, still mostly the UK. I think it'd be cool to get into the other countries, but I think for the first game of this type, they're going to stick with what people know, and that's cool. I'm super down to create an avatar and experience an original storyline of the wizarding world. There's a lot to go into. It's the coolest universe built since Tolkien, probably.
Really?
Yeah,
hold on.
I mean, there are others you can talk about. There's the Mass Effect universe is great. The Star Wars universe is great. The Dragon Age universe is great. There's lots, but like, I don't think anyone touched the depth Tolkien did. And I think there's a lot of people who have done a lot of good work. I mean, the Halo universe is great.
I love the Halo universe.
There's a lot of stories that can be told outside of the stories that we know in all of those. I mean, the Lord of the Rings is about to touch it, the Silmarillion as a series for Amazon. And so I just think that the Hogwarts universe is so relevant to today's culture of consumers. I think one of my earliest book reports was on the first book.
I think you're forgetting the most important universe, and that's the Karate Kid universe. That's now expanded.
That's not a universe. That's reality, bro.
So how attached is J.K. Rowling to this video game?
I would
hopefully none.
I would assume it. Like, she obviously hasn't sold off anything, so they have to okay everything with her, I would assume. But I would imagine that any studio probably wants to distance themselves from her right now. But I don't want to excuse anything she said because what she said was terrible. But she did give us something amazing, and that's the Wizarding World that she created for us, which was like a super in-depth universe that, that's our generation's Tolkien, which is almost really sad to say because Tolkien created something way bigger than J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling, she screwed up her own universe with the first two prequels and so many continuity errors within those two movies. Like, it was like at one point I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this.
I don't have any problems with what she's been doing in the current movie series as far as continuity. My biggest problem with her when she's always thrown something out there that like you had to like what context did she really give us for that? And like you can piece together it by what she says, but like it feels like there was never any intention behind some of this stuff. Like, Dumbledore's sexuality, like I mean, you can explain it away as much as you want. There are so many credible things you could say, like, oh, it's a story for kids, so we weren't really putting that perspective on it. You can see it in the writing, how Dumbledore treats Harry as a child the whole way through. So it's his own sexuality and being a teacher is not something you would talk about, and blah, 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 blah. Like, all of that's, fine. You can use all of that and say that, but, like, there's no part of me that will ever believe that was her intention from the beginning.
No, yeah, for sure.
It totally looks like it plays. Homie, it plays. But, like, nah, she wasn't. When she captured a wizard named Harry Potter and kept him in a cage and he told him his life story, there's no way that he was like, oh yeah, Dumbledore was gay too. I don't know. Did I?
I mean, she goes back and does that, but then they kind of Grindelwald, they bring back Professor McGonagall as a cameo, and technically she's not born yet. Like, just like really stupid errors in terms of like storytelling and what you don't need to do. Like, there's just so many things wrong where I'm like, all right, your universe was so in depth for 8 books or however many books there are. I don't even know how many books there are anymore, but for how many books there
7
were,
books, 8 movies,
7 books, so in depth.
Well, there's
and then,
also
like,
the Cursed
your
Child.
prequels is just like you got lazy and we're just like, I'm just gonna write some stories that somehow fit into this universe, but I'm not actually gonna think about how they do. Let's make this person show up because they were cool. Everybody liked it from the old books. She's not, and she's not even born yet.
Well, from what it sounds like, the game that we just saw a trailer of today is that I don't know how heavy her involvement is, but we're getting some other writers getting to tell a brand new story in that universe. Something to do with it takes place. All it said it was the 1800s. Like that's 100 years worth of content. That's like that's a pretty broad general year. 1800s.
If it's like the early 1800s, it's approximately 100 years before Newt from Crimes of Grindelwald or Fantastic Beasts. He was supposedly attending Hogwarts in 1908.
Right.
And then the actual films were set in 1927. Professor McGonagall was born in 1935.
Good year.
just don't know that. But anyway. Either way, so yeah, it takes place almost 100 years before this. So it's going to be super cool that you're going to basically get to see other people contribute, kind of like with the Star Wars and like the Legend series, the other different books. You get to see other people get creative with the Star Wars universe, kind of outside of George Lucas's mind and writing, but way better than what Disney's version of Star Wars has been so far.
But within the rules that the original creator created the universe.
Yeah.
Like that's something to always be thought of.
I don't think anybody knew about this game, but when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, cool. It looks like a cool Harry Potter game. You're going to Hogwarts, probably pick your house, blah, 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 So it looks like a neat game for kids. And then all of a sudden it's like, and we're going outside the school. And then all of a sudden it turns into that open world RPG. I'm like, oh shit, this looks awesome. And it's on both platforms. So you're good
and PC
either way.
Yeah.
And PC.
So, and
is it on Switch too?
I didn't see Switch. The only thing that I saw early like debates and like Reddit comments and stuff was a lot of people expressing that they wanted some form of multiplayer with it, and like maybe not a full MMO, but like kind of how like when Fable was first experimenting with being able to bring other players onto your server and things like that. It doesn't look like any of that's going to be a part of it. It looks like it's full single-player RPG, but open world, so you're talking hundreds of hours of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not too many fetch quests, because that is the downfall of all open world quests.
You know there's going to be.
So many fetch quests.
Oh, Brad, you're going to need to get by the time turner.
The time turner?
You need to be the champ. You need to be the Olympic champ.
But you need tortoise's eyes.
You need to be the Olympic champ, but you need some oil in order to compete. Go onto this side of the map and find the oil maker.
We did see somebody in the trailer pull up a broom, so hopefully that means Quidditch. And if they're gonna make anything multiplayer, it should be Quidditch. Like it could be single player RPG all you want, and then hop into a multiplayer mode for Quidditch. Like,
I think they should make it online like GTA 5. Where you're just wizards out there. You're going out there and you're just shooting some green lightning and you're killing other wizards.
Lightning bolt!
I would never do that. That's an unforgivable curse, or an unforgivable spell. Why
unforgivable.
Lord Hummerbolt.
That's your Harry Potter name, Hummerbolt?
Of House Conrad?
Of House Conrad.
House shithead.
Conrad is a shithead.
Damn.
I only say that because I have to edit his barks out of every episode.
So what other games did you guys see or hear about that got you a little excited that PlayStation was demoing today? Were you excited like any of the Final Fantasies or?
I know Brad's a big Devil May Cry fan, right?
Huge. I was at work, so I missed all of the conference. So like I said, the only thing I saw was the Harry Potter game release. I'd have to look into more stuff, or you guys can tell me about it. That's kind of the purpose of what we're doing here. So talk, monkeys, talk.
Well, one of the things that they did announce, which I wanted to get into, was the PlayStation Plus benefit. So Xbox has the Game Pass, which we've talked about plenty on this podcast, but we also have xCloud. But PlayStation Plus was something they announced, and it's almost like I feel like this was almost maybe a Hail Mary that's being thrown by PlayStation. It seems a little just
Hail Marys
thrown together, but they decided they're offering some, relatively, I don't want to use the term relatively new, AAA titles to their PlayStation Plus benefits. So some of them being God of War, Resident Evil, Battlefield 1, Last of Us is going to be on there. Last Generation, Batman Arkham Knight.
One of the best games ever.
So it seems like they're trying to add some more and make their Plus a little bit more enticing. Because when you're looking at the consoles and which ones you actually want to get, there's a lot of value to be had on the Xbox platform. I think it's going to be hard still to convince some people who've been PlayStation fans their whole lives to switch over to Xbox. But I really think they're trying to make an attempt to say, hey, even if you're thinking about getting an Xbox for Game Pass, we have PlayStation Plus. And PlayStation Plus has been around since, 3-4 years now? 5 years?
Oh, longer than that.
And it's essentially a streaming service for video games, which is what Microsoft just released on the 15th as out of beta. Was the Xbox Game Cloud or xCloud.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of have that platform already. So, I mean, the real question is, if you guys were getting a system of the three, you have PlayStation with its exclusives, you have it priced at $499 for a disc version, you have it for $399 without a disc, for all digital version. You don't have any real subscription type Game Pass that's going to give you access to most of the newest games and having EA wrapped up. And then on the Xbox side, you have the Xbox Series X at $499, and you have a Series S at $299. Both sit one geared towards 1080p gaming, one geared towards 4K. What are you guys looking at? What are you guys thinking in terms of which way you guys would lean?
Well, I think first you should mention some of the exclusives that are coming out for PlayStation. So not just the PlayStation Plus, that they're putting a little bit more effort into that. But
I was trying to load the question, okay? Xbox is our sponsor.
Money, please.
Bang!
So when it comes down to the consoles, the only thing that I'm really, really thinking about, like the primary thing, is what am I going to play? What games is it going to have? And which platforms has it? So I'm only thinking about exclusives. Out of everything coming out, there are 2 games I was most excited for. One on the Xbox was Halo, which is delayed, so that kind of got taken out of the equation. And the other one's Spider-Man Miles Morales. The other exclusives coming out to PlayStation 5 on like day one, so the second you buy one, these will be out, are a remake of the original Demon Souls, which is like Dark Souls. If you ever played that game, it's the original. It looks amazing, but it is a remake. It's a beautiful, completely rebuilt remaster, and it looks really cool. But it's not a brand new game, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? Astro's Playroom, which is just like a fun game, kind of trying to show off all the features of the PlayStation 5. Destruction All-Stars, which I didn't even really look into. Sackboy Adventure, a big adventure.
Right? Is Sackboy?
Hmm?
You say Sackboy?
Yes, Sackboy. That is a PlayStation mascot, Sackboy.
It's exactly what you think it is. Let's just
if you guys want to do something very interesting, go Google Sackboy.
No, I'm never going to do it.
This Sackboy. Sackboy. Spell it wrong. Do it for me. You won't be disappointed.
And then Google Cuties.
Not fun. Oh, God. We're canceled. That's it.
Sorry, guys. Apple has canceled our subscription.
So those are like the otherwise, why buy a new system other than if you want to improve your graphics if these games aren't coming out for it, right? So for PlayStation, yeah, I'll probably check out Demon Souls, but I really want to play Miles Morales. On Xbox, there's nothing day one that I need to play other than you get access to all these an amazing selection of game with their Game Pass, but I have that now. So yeah, Xbox spent so much money buying all these first-party studios. They're going to be making great games. I have no doubt, but I've just either haven't seen anything I'm really, really excited about, or just haven't found out, or we haven't seen enough about them yet. So here's what I'm thinking. Eventually I'm going to have both, right? But what am I going to start with first, and if I'm going to get one day one? PlayStation historically has always had the better exclusives. I'm leaning more towards PlayStation. For $400, I can get the brand new PlayStation 4K, 120 frames per second, for $400, and I'll be able to play Spider-Man day one. I'm leaning towards that way, right? And if I'm buying a PlayStation, dropping money on it, why would I want to also buy an Xbox within the same month? But because Xbox is doing their payment plan, I can trade in my old Xbox One X, get a discount, get the new Series X for around $35 a month. I mean, I can easily do that and get the PlayStation. So I really could get both, but I don't have a reason to get the Xbox because, again, there's nothing I'm going to be playing. The only benefit I would get is getting upgrades to the games that I currently have and I'm currently playing, which isn't really worth it. But then again, for $35 a month, that's nothing, right? So I might as well just do it, right?
I think you should. Yeah, and it's a good point that you bring about the trade-in. So GameStop right now, or I would say right now, starting Tuesday, if you pre-order a console, they're doing their trade-in. I find this crazy. You could have a 7-year-old original day one Xbox One, 500 gigabytes. You can trade that in. They'll give you $100 credit.
That's what I got, baby.
They'll also give you that credit towards a Series S. So you could basically get a brand new console, $199 from GameStop, day one. That right there is a phenomenal value, in my opinion. If you have an Xbox One X, they'll give you $200. So you could trade up to the Series S for $300. That's still a phenomenal value. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going out there. It's going to make these consoles, worth getting, or they're trying to entice you to get it. I think GameStop's also trying to get you. It's the way the trade-in program works on the All Access is interesting. You can't just take the console to like Best Buy. You have to take it to the retailer which you bought the console from. in order to get your upgrade from the plan. So if you buy it from a GameStop, you have to return the Xbox Series X to GameStop to get the Xbox Series Z in 2 years, whatever they call it, to get that new one. So I think they're trying to lock you into buying their cell phone from the GameStop, because let's face it, the digital versions of these consoles are going to make GameStop disappear. So they're trying to find ways to lock you into a revenue generating source for them.
You know what?
Good
No, this is the opposite of what I was about to say. Buy your console from GameStop so we can keep it alive. Why are you saying good riddance?
Because GameStop's a terrible place.
What?
I hate that store.
Why?
Like,
when your wife makes you go,
just like I remember the trade-in value on stuff was always terrible back in the day. Like, whenever I would do that,
that's capitalism.
When Xbox was talking about going all digital in the first place, I applauded that, because I think the used gaming industry is what drove up pricing on new games. Like, I definitely think that attributed to that. So I was hoping that if we saw the ability to sell games go away, that overall pricing would go down.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That was a dream, because the gaming industry is also selfish. No, capitalism is selfish.
They don't have to pay to make discs, pay someone to print these discs. They can just release the code online digitally. They're still going to charge $70.
The discs don't cost anything to manufacture. Let's not act like they're incurring a huge cost for printing on a disc. They're incurring the cost from all the R&D they have to do.
Would buy a game that was 8 months old from you for $5, and then go sell it as a used copy for $45 instead of buying a brand new copy at $50. Like, they were thieves. They were out here thieving. Like, that was garbage. I think I sold like a mint condition Super Nintendo to GameStop once, and they were like, "Yeah, $10." I was like, I saw one of these go on eBay for like $150. I immediately took it back and sold it on eBay instead. Like, they were trash, and I think it's a trash place. Also, they didn't hire me as a young 18-year-old. Like,
there it is. Now it's out.
Wow. I'm also bitter about that.
I'm gonna get.
I didn't get hired there, or you didn't get hired there.
Neither of us did.
I'm gonna pull one over on them. My Xbox One, the original version I have, does have an issue where after about 20-25 minutes, it shuts off randomly. So it's back here behind me.
I thought you were going to say after,
and
like,
I'm going to trade that
days.
Bad boy in for $100 credit on my Xbox Series X. And when they plug it in to see if it works, it's going to start up and it's going to run for about 20 minutes before it goes doo.
And then some tech guy somewhere is going to be like, "Oh, we just got to replace this little blah blah blah, put it in the who's and what's it's, and it's like a brand new freaking Xbox."
I wonder how much does it even go for on
$500.
eBay. They can't be that much. An original Xbox One.
Well, you guys just ruined my childhood. So, what are you thinking, Brad? Where is your head at on the next gen consoles?
I mean, if there's production delays, like, that's fine with me. I'm a loyalist. I'll probably stay with my Xbox. I'll upgrade when I have the money and time to do so. I haven't owned a PlayStation since PlayStation 2, maybe.
Same boat.
I haven't bought a Nintendo console since. I think I have a 3DS, and I also was a GameCube owner.
Yep. That was my last.
I haven't bought anything but Xbox since then, and I'm very content.
Let me ask you this: what's the last Xbox exclusive that you played?
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah. So why are you so loyal to Xbox?
But because it's just what I've been on for the last couple of years, and like the PlayStation exclusives sound nice, but like I also don't care. Like,
that is a really good point. I don't care. Like, even when the hoopla came out about Spider-Man, like, I was tempted to check it out, and I was like, don't care.
The only one over the last couple of years that I've like always kind of missed out on is MLB The Show. Like, I miss baseball simulators. The 2K ones from the late teen year, the late like 2K5 through 2K9 baseball simulators were a lot of fun.
You guys are missing out on like some of the best games ever just because you.
I totally get it.
I don't get it.
I totally get that. I would play The Last of Us. I would play Zero Dawn, whatever that was.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted.
Like, they all look cool, but like at the same time, I don't know. It's like I play most of the like games I play these days are Bethesda and BioWare stuff, which aren't going to be exclusive ever.
Yeah, like I played Borderlands. I played Fallout series. Now I'm hooked on Assassin's Creed.
Most of the AAA studios that I play aren't exclusive. So I don't know. I would, if I owned it, I would get it. But like, I'm also poor, so I make my choice and I go with what I got. You know. And if I ever really needed a PlayStation, I'll just steal Andrew's or convince you to let me borrow yours for a bit.
Let me borrow your PlayStation 4 when you get the PlayStation 5, and
or go to Wisconsin and do some looting, right? Like
that's the real way to do it.
That's a real man's way to do it. Go loot.
Well, I mean that brings up a really good point. You know, when you're looking at these consoles and why you should buy them or what you should be buying them for. If you're looking to just be a casual game, let's call it a casual gamer. You're playing Apex, you're playing Fortnite. You know, you're playing maybe 1-2 nights a week. You honestly don't really need to upgrade. If you have a Xbox One X, you're fine with it. If you have a One S, you're probably fine with it for a while. You don't need to go out day one and get it. If you're wanting to have the best of the best because you do have a 4K TV, or you're in the market for getting a 4K TV and you want it to look the best, yeah, you're probably going to want to upgrade, and you're probably going to want to be looking at a Series X. If you're playing on a monitor, honestly, you're probably also fine with a Series S because it's going to be designed for lower resolutions. So there is a way too that you could own, I think, both systems and do it affordably. You could go with the PlayStation 5, the discless version, as your main console. You could go then with the Series S from Xbox as like I want to be in the Xbox ecosystem. You know, I think there's definitely one for everybody. I'm personally going to be sticking with Xbox from day one. It's what I was thinking about. How do I switch over? You know, all my game library is on Xbox. It's going to seamlessly transition over to Xbox Series X. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to subscribe to an extra service to make it backwards compatible. And all my friends are on it. So that's what we always say is buy the system where your friends are. Don't be the only friend who gets the Xbox if all your friends are on PlayStation. And don't be the only friend who buys a PlayStation if all your friends are on Xbox. Sauce.
Would you? I would not tell people that they're good either way. I would say that if you go PlayStation over Xbox, you're missing out because of Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass is an incredible value.
That's the other thing. Like, it's the same thing with like why I always upgrade to Apple, because that's where my stuff is. I'm gonna stay with the Xbox because that's where all my stuff is. Mm-hmm. Everything, and I haven't bought anything hard copy in years now, so everything's gonna transition over whenever I do upgrade, because I probably won't upgrade day one. My TV's 4 or 5 years old. It's not 4K, so like the processing power and all that stuff is wasted on my poorness.
You sound like such an old man.
I mean, well, that's a good point. Like, you don't
going
have
on
to
33,
upgrade.
I feel like an old man.
That's where all my stuff is. I don't have 4K.
Home is where my stuff is. That's my new country song I'm writing. Thank you. It's supposed to be gangster. That's what I was going for. But country gangster. It's new. It's hot. It's what the people have never asked for.
Featuring Lil Nas X.
I couldn't get him, so I got his brother, Littler Nas Q.
So I would say though, for the last part about kind of the new consoles,
his sexuality is questionable.
The games that I'm looking forward to playing on them.
Yeah, please edit that out.
Oh, I'm not.
He's leaving it in. The games that I'm looking forward to playing on the new hardware, just because I think they're going to look fantastic with all the new features the consoles are adding. You know, Sauce already talked about all the exclusives, but I'm really looking forward to Assassin's Creed Valhalla Just absolutely pumped about that game, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to be, what it's going to look like in 4K. I'm going to say 60 frames per second because that's what they confirmed it is going to be at. I think it's going to be great, and if that's really, those are the types of games I'm going to look forward to, is playing brand new AAA titles, being able to take advantage of the hardware. If you don't have the TV set, you're not in the market, stick with what you have. Wait till you upgrade your TV hardware, and then go and get an Xbox for $30 a month.
The problem will be when they stop making new games for the current generation. Like, if you're at that point where the new titles aren't being released on the current gen, then you are forced to upgrade. Like, if Dragon Age 4 doesn't have Xbox One support, and I mean, we already know Cyberpunk will, but like,
that's the thing. They're going to support those consoles for. They're really only 3 years old. The Xbox One X and the Series S. They're only, and the Series S, Xbox One S is basically the same hardware in a tinier package than the original Xbox. Really, the only thing you're kind of missing out on besides the upgrade graphics power is the SSD support there. From a technology perspective, it's really, they're just going to be turning off features and they're going to be lowering resolutions because they've already determined that they want this to be a platform where you can play games on any hardware that's Xbox branded.
Did you guys see that somebody pointed out that Major Nelson, who's one of the big reviewers for Xbox and everything, he's had a Series S in his background for months.
No, that wasn't Major Nelson. It was the CEO of Xbox.
Oh, I thought it was Major Nelson.
Phil Spencer.
Yeah, it was Phil Spencer.
I thought it was Major Nelson. Either way, it was Phil Spencer. Whatever.
He had it back in July. That's awesome.
Completely different person. Either way, it's been on his background for months.
Yeah,
that's how small it is. Yeah, he's trolls.
It's about, I think they said 60% smaller than what the Xbox One. This is where it's going to get so confusing, and I'm starting to see it now. Everybody's complaining about it. There's going to be some parents out there who their kids ask for Xbox Series X or S, and they're going to come back with an Xbox One S, and the kid's going to
the other thing was the other thing I saw was that parents or kids who get the discless version, and then parents who buy them games on disc, and they're not going to be able to do anything with them. And it's not like Amazon's going to say, "Hey, hold on a second. Do you want to buy the digital copy? Are you sure you want to buy the hard copy?" Amazon's going to be like, No. Yeah, you bought it already. Don't even return it. Just find a way to plug it in.
Buy the other one.
Just buy the other one.
I've got it figured out. Okay. So I work with a lot of casual gamers. They probably play the Fortnites and the Apex Legends, right? They don't. That's it, and they're happy with that, and that's fine. So they play mostly on Xbox. So if I were to recommend them what to play, or really if I'm going to recommend anyway, which to get, PlayStation or Xbox, your cheapest option, if you don't care about graphics, is going to be the Series S, right? You're going to get all your upgrades, all your graphical, not graphics, but all your.
Yeah, it's going to be an upgrade in graphics. It's going to be an upgrade in graphics. Let's
not as big of a jump.
Yeah, but hold on.
We can get into that. Don't look at teraflops. That's a stupid thing to look at when it comes to graphical power and how to judge whether a console is going to be good. It's a very stupid thing to look at.
Yeah. So, $300, you're going to get all the new stuff. You're going to get your new console, and you'll be able to play the new stuff going forward. But if you want 4K, if you want it to look the best and run the best, for $100 more, you can get the discless PlayStation. And most of those games, like Fortnite, Rocket League, all this stuff, has cross-platform anyway. It doesn't matter where your friends are. You can still play with them. It only really matters if you want to transfer your account, if you have skins unlocked and purchased or whatever. So $400, and you're going to get the best performance you can get on a next-gen console for the lowest price. But because Xbox has payment plans, I mean, you can still do the Series S for $25 a month, Or you could just spend that $10 extra and just $35 a month. You're going to get the best of the best, and you're going to get everything. And you're going to get Game Pass, and you're going to get Xbox Live, and you're going to get all that stuff. So really, your cheapest option to me is still just doing the $35 a month and get the Series X if you can get it. I know there's going to be a credit check, but it's going to not be. It's going to be like a cell phone. So if you can't get like a cell phone plan, then you probably won't be able to do the Xbox. But I also read that it's the APR is based on your credit too. So it doesn't mean you can get flat out denied, but it might mean like instead of 35, maybe you're paying $40 or $45 because of your credit.
If I think you're wrong on that, actually, I don't think this program is designed to be 0% interest.
I swear that I read that
it was like a deny or accepted thing.
I could be wrong.
Hey, they're going to tell me that they need the money up front. That's what they're going to tell me.
I mean, regardless, if they're doing a credit check, I doubt it's going to be that strenuous.
Straight cash.
The beauty with the Series X or Series X is you're a little bit future-proofing yourself. 4K TVs are really starting to come down in price. They're going to continue to go down in price. They're going to get into that range where eventually you will, in a few years, we're hardly going to see new 1080ps coming to the market. It's going to be all 4K. So you're kind of future-proofing yourself in that. If you're in the market for buying a TV and you're saying, hey, I'm going to buy a TV now, and I'm going to buy the best TV I can because I want to look as good as I can on my PS5 or Series X, do not get an 8K TV. It will be a waste of money. They say they were 8K ready. They are not 8K ready. It will be like watching each individual bullet being fired out of the AK-47 on fully automatic mode in slow motion because it will be so bad. Mm-hmm. And I'm only saying that because the current generation of PC hardware just came out. They're just now touting its ability to run 8K. And unless this is just magic technology that's coming out that's going to be on par with the $1,500 graphics card that's dropping next month from NVIDIA, I'm not seeing this current generation being able to handle 8K the way it's meant to. Stick with a 4K television. Stick with 4K gaming for the next 5-7 years. Wait for the next round of consoles that comes out. Then upgrade your TV to the 8K.
Yeah, I don't think 8K really is going to be relevant at all because, like you said earlier, most people don't even have a 4K TV. So
right,
they're not going to just get an 8K TV all of a sudden.
8K ready is a marketing gimmick they're using. Similar, if you notice the performance targets, they're saying up to 120 frames per second. Zero doubt in my mind, or sit me at the table, put a sign there, change my mind. Xbox Series X will not run AAA titles such as, it's already been confirmed, Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 4K, 120 frames. It will not do it. It will run it at 60 frames per second. That's what they're targeting in 4K. That's what you can expect. If you want to drop the resolution down to 1440p, it'll run 1440p at 120 frames per second. That's what they're targeting. The Series S will run 144p at 60 frames per second. It will not run it at 120. It will run 180p at 120. So just keep they're using this marketing jargon, which is just insane to me. Teraflops. We don't need teraflops. They don't determine how well a system's going to perform. The PlayStation 5 may blow the Xbox out of the water in terms of its abilities. We don't know until we actually get our hands on them. That's coming soon.
Yeah, I think anybody who cares about the specs that you're talking about is just going to play on PC anyway. So, yeah, see,
I don't think so. It's important because you're trying to match up the TV set. If you're buying a new TV, you need to match it. You need to match it up to what system you want. So if you don't have a 4K TV, make sure you're getting a 1080p then. Get it that's 120 hertz though, because then you're going to be able to take advantage of the Series S in the way that it's meant to be, right? And so if you're getting a 4K TV, make sure you're getting one that is 120 frames per second because you're going to future-proof yourself, but you're still going to get to play at a lower resolution if you want those higher frame rates. So it's going to give you the flexibility. So it's important to match your TV to the console that you're getting, and shoot us a drop on our email or Twitter if you want some TV recommendations.
Specifically yours.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to, if you want PlayStation exclusives, you're going to have to get the PlayStation. If you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably going to get both. And if you're fucking casual, then get an Xbox. I mean, it's only 10. You get the $25 a month one, or spend that 10 extra bucks, which I think you should, and get everything. That's where my head's at. I'm gonna get both eventually. Probably start off with the PlayStation first, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's good about being casual, though. You're always comfortable. You're comfortably dressed when you're casual.
You look very comfortably dressed right now.
Thanks. I feel the way I look, which is
Gryffindory.
Sure.
All right, so I think that's all we got time for this week. We'll have to hold off the reviews until next week, unless you guys had anything to add into this console war debate.
Yeah, it's just pre-orders for Xbox go live Tuesday, the 22nd. If you want your Xbox day one, get it. If you want a PlayStation, you got to log on now to or head onto their website. You got to enter your email address for a chance to win a chance to buy a launch day console. PS5 is being really hampered by production woes. So if you want to launch one, you better try to get it. Otherwise, I would hold off on buying one because the secondary market's just going to be probably outrageous. People trying to buy them and then resell them on eBay. So I would not do that. If I were a consumer, I would be holding off and just waiting until they come back in stock, even if that's into early 2021.
Holiday season.
Xbox should be easier to get, though. We're not hearing rumors of as much production woes, which is odd because they're both using basically the same chip.
Honestly, I wish the Series X looked like the Series S. I think it looks so cool. It's small. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to put this giant freaking cube brick thing. It's not going to fit on my shelf right now.
Well, you're going to be able to lay it sideways. I mean, you're going to be able to lay it down sideways, though, too.
Yeah, even sideways.
No?
Well, aren't you going to trade in your current gen Xbox? So you can take that space.
Yeah, it's still like the shelf. It's like, I got to
get a new shelf.
I'm gonna actually mount I'm gonna see if they have a bracket of some sort. I'm gonna mount mine to the wall behind the TV.
That actually look really cool. Put some RGB lighting under there. I know you're gonna.
Dude, my computer's all lit up.
All right. I think that's all we got time for you this week. So thanks for tuning in. I promise next week we're not going to talk about specs the whole time.
We're done. We're done. It's over. We're on the games. All right. We know what's coming out. We're done.
And movies too.
Well, I got some specs to talk about next week, guys. I want to give you a heads up.
We're going to talk about our CrossFit specs.
Yeah.
Yeah. CrossFit. I know those words.
Make sure you follow us on all social medias out there. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts if you like what you're hearing, or don't if you don't. And
constructive criticism is welcome.
Can we talk about the upcoming NBA draft next week? Can we do that?
No.
That means no. We don't talk sports unless it's sports games. And
that's right.
We just mention them quietly.
Exactly. Only a little
Madden
bit.
2021 dropped.
Follow us on your favorite podcasting platform, and we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, were you trying to talk?